ample supply of oil, the moving parts would overheat, wear, and seize up. Take a closer look at a typical working surface. Under the electron microscope, it shows up as a series of jagged peaks and valleys. It's the oil's job to keep metal surfaces like these from touching each other. If the film of oil between them gets too thin, the peaks will rub against each other, weld, and tear apart. Paradoxically, this kind of wear is more likely to happen at slow speeds than fast. This model shows why. A moving belt and a plate floating close above it are kept apart by a film of oil. As the speed increases, the oil is drawn into the space between them, forcing them further apart. The tubes register the pressure exerted by the oil. The higher the speed, the greater the pressure, and the thicker the film of oil. When the speed drops, the pressure falls and the oil film gets thinner. But if a load is now applied, it forces oil out from between the working surfaces. The gap between them narrows, to the point where the oil film may actually rupture. This becomes critical whenever speed is low and the load is relatively high, as for instance in stopping and starting. It occurs in the eccentric loading on the crankshaft bearings, in the hammer blow delivered to a piston at its moment of rest, or in the pressure of a cam working against a stiffly sprung follower. Repeated rupturing of the oil film results in progressively serious damage and eventual failure. No base oil by itself can prevent this kind of wear. It's dealt with by improving the viscosity range of the lubricant. Greatly magnified, a mineral oil can be represented as countless individual molecules in constant motion. The hotter the oil, the more agitated the molecules become, and the oil gets thinner. To control this, a chemical additive is introduced. It consists of a complex molecule that expands with heat and restricts the movement of the smaller oil molecules. On cooling, it returns to its original size. So the oil maintains a consistent viscosity over a wide temperature range, the familiar property of a multigrade. Improving viscosity helps the oil to withstand some of the loads on working parts, but it doesn't go far enough. In many of today's engines, loads and speeds can be extremely high, where, for instance, the gearbox is built in. Imagine the gear teeth as a set of powerful nutcrackers. They can literally shear the oil molecules apart. Viscosity breaks down, and the oil is thrown out, exposing the metal surfaces to overheating and catastrophic damage. To enable the lubricant to cope, a different kind of additive is used. It consists of molecules which bond chemically with the metal under intense frictional heat. They form a protective layer, allowing the surfaces to slide over each other without damage. While some additives enhance the lubricating properties of the oil, others are needed